It's the day of the surgery. Finally, after 2 years of struggling with these crutches and trying to figure out what's wrong, let's get right. I hope that's not the floor, because they told me the floor. Yeah, top floor, penthouse type vibes.
Penthouse.
My name is Jalen Thompson, aka J-Mac the author of the Weathul Advetues Series, and also a brand owner of the fitness brand I Gotta Get It Fitness. My riches are fitness, health, wealth, family, and probably the most important rich, love.
So you say J-Mac the author, and you have some beautiful riches there. Can you tell us a little bit more about J-Mac the author and who you are as an author and what you do and who you write to, and tell us a little bit just about your whole story about being an author.
Yeah, so I never planned on being an author. It's kind of one of those things that I was just reading up on books, coming up with ideas on how to make passive income, and book royalties was on that list, and I just happened to become an author that day. Just wrote a kid's book, taking all the financial lessons I had learned and just making it rhyme, simplifying it to where kids could understand it.
Here, you know, laid up in bed, you got ice on your knee, crutches. Can you tell us a little bit about this story and how that may have helped you find riches in life and what you want to do in life, and how this could have inspired you or could have had you on a downhill slope? Can you just explain to us on that whole process of your journey?
Yeah, so fitness, that's my first dream, my first passion. And it started with basketball, playing basketball my whole life and football in high school. So I've always been into athletics. And once basketball was over and I couldn't play pro, I found a love for fitness, calisthenics, weightlifting, things like that. And, you know, I was doing too much, working out 5 to 6, 7 times a week, not giving myself enough time to recover, which led to what started as a small overuse injury, and then over time it just got worse and worse. So I would think it would get better, then I would go out, work out, injure it more, and that's just been the cycle for the past 2 years. So today, finally had my surgery done. There was a defect in the bone, I think they said. So they did a microfracture for that, so that should be able to heal up, get some new cartilage growing in. And then there was scar tissue, which really limited my range of motion. And so every time I would do too much with the range of motion, that scar tissue or just something in there was causing swelling, and that's why I was up and down, progress, setbacks, progress, setbacks. But one thing that really did for me was just work on my mental. Because working out, I learned it was a coping mechanism for me. At first, I thought it was just something I loved to do. It was fun, which it is. But any problems I had mentally, emotionally, I just go to the weight room. And so when I couldn't do that, I had to really sit with myself and actually heal from the things I was going through. And so that gave me time I started reading a lot of books. I went to therapy and just really worked on my mental. And I see how this has shown me how temporary, you know, the physical is. Because whether it be getting older, whether it be an injury, more than likely most of us, if we're blessed enough to live long enough, will deal with physical impairments. But it made me work on my mind so much that I got to the point where, as hard as it was physically, I had healed from a lot of the things I was going through, and it's just made this journey a lot easier. Got started, like really getting into the fitness, posting it on Instagram and taking it more serious. I was working at Southwest at the time, so I was traveling a lot, just being able to travel for free. So that was cool when me and you were able to just shoot videos, and we went to Oregon, shot videos, Florida. So that was real cool to just be able to travel and just work out. Like, if I had things my way, that would probably be how I live my life for the most part. So yeah, it was cool to be able to do that.
Through those journeys, what else did you learn from traveling outside of the working out part? You know, because a lot of people may not have the opportunity to go travel state to state and experience different things and do different things. So can you touch on a little bit about that?
I think one really big moment for me that I'll never forget is when we were on the beach in Cali, and you know, we were just going through some things with the family where we had just lost somebody, and as hard as it was grieving, I had like that thought in the back of my mind of us losing him and things like that. But in the same moment, I was able to like look over the ocean, and it just was like I don't know if they call that a paradox, if that's how you say it, or paradigm, but just seeing the two sides of life, how beautiful and ugly it could be, to have that thought in my mind of just the grief and the hurt of losing that family member, but looking over the ocean and just seeing how beautiful, you know, the world is. And so it was just I think that just was a moment that showed me, like, no matter how ugly life gets, like, you can always find beauty in it.
So we touched on how you moved on from working out because your injury, which helped you create your first children's book. Can we go into a little bit more details about your book? And we see there's 3 of them over there. Can you just break them down a little bit more and explain what they're all about?
Okay, so the first one I wrote, we'll go in order. So the book series is called the Weathul Advetues Series. And the message I want to get out there with wealth is deeper than money, and it's real similar to the what is your rich, because it goes hand in hand with what is my rich. You know, my idea of wealth is peace, knowledge, fulfillment, love, things like that. And so even though the focus of the books right now has been majority financial literacy, as I expand, you see I went from entrepreneurship, you're the boss, investing, you're the investor, to author. And so as I continue with the books, you know, I can make books on, you know, continue finances, whether that be credit or taxes, but also go in the realms of like mental health, nutrition, just overall well-being.
When a child opens up your book, what is it that the book is breaking down? Can you break down the author? Because that's the book you have in front of you right now.
So this one, like I said, not so much financial literacy, but in my mind, I say lay out all the opportunities for the kids and let them pick. So this is just one that can inspire them to become an author. And even outside of becoming an author, it can inspire them to just be themselves and create what brings fulfillment to them. So let me go to the page.
Can you hold the book up for us a little bit?
Yeah. So like this bar right here, it says, you can write about your interests or something you love. And you can tell it's a piece of me in these books by, the basketball and everything, a little bit of my history that I put inside these books. But you can write about your interests or something you love. You can write a story that's completely made up. And as we keep going, this part right here, and this can apply to anything, whatever you're doing, whether it's writing a book, whatever your passion is, honor yourself, create from the heart. That way you'll get the most fulfillment from your art. And I was real hesitant to write this book because it was Wealthful Adventures and it was financial literacy. But following this rule myself, I was like, let me go ahead and take a chance and step outside of that financial literacy. And like I said, now I'll be doing books on a lot more than just finances.
I did a little bit of digging myself through your book, and I felt like you missed some of the most valuable points about the book, and that's the end with the activity section where the kids use different games with the words they just read about, and I think that's something huge.
No, that's a fact. And that's one thing I always forget, even when I'm talking about it on social media. I never really talk about the games and activities. And with these ideas being more complex, of course I simplified it, made it rhyme and made it fun for the kids. But ideas like investing, passive income, real estate, entrepreneurship, those aren't things that'll just come naturally to kids. So repetition is what will help these ideas stick and help kids apply them in the future. So there's things like word searches with those words like businesses, funds, investors, stocks. Crossword puzzles, same principle, that has the definitions of some of those words. And of course they can read it in the book, but as they play these games and activities more, it'll really help those concepts stick with them.
Now, shifting away from your book, to wrap this up, what are some words of advice, wisdom, knowledge that you want to share out to the people, kids, adults, whoever? What are your words of wisdom?
I would say just don't box yourself in, whether it's you working a job or just anything in life that's not making you happy and you feeling stuck, trapped in it. It's never too late to change. I feel like the way society is set up is like once you're 25, you gotta be locked in. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta know your career. You talking about getting married, but I feel like there's no rush on those things. Like, especially finding yourself in your interests. You have people that are like 80 years old that don't find their love and passion. So if you're not happy, if you're not fulfilled, it's never too late to start something new or just find your passion or pursue your passion.